Let's talk about resilience. You hear this word thrown around everywhere, right? It's held up as this superpower we should all have. But what does it actually mean? Well, the answer is way more interesting than you might think. Today, we're going to tear it down to its parts and build a brand new blueprint for how we can all learn to bounce back, but stronger. And this quote from the legendary Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi just nails it. Think about that for a second. It's not just about surviving something tough. It's about transforming adversity into an enjoyable challenge. That's a huge mindset shift, and it's really the soul of what we're digging into here.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the resilience puzzle, why it's been so hard to pin down. Then, we'll see how researchers finally cracked the code. After that, we get to the good stuff, the 4 essential pillars they discovered. We'll put them all together into a new map for resilience, and then, most importantly, we'll talk about how you can actually put this stuff into practice in your own life.
Okay, let's dive into part 1, the resilience puzzle. For years, this word has been kind of messy. Researchers and writers used it interchangeably with things like hardiness or grit or mental toughness, and nobody could really agree on a single clear definition. It was all just a bit foggy. A big part of the confusion came from how we used to think about it. The old school view was that resilience was a fixed trait. It was like your eye color. You either had it or you didn't. But now we have a much more powerful way of seeing it. The new view is that resilience is a dynamic process. It's not a thing you have, it's a thing you do. And the best part? That means it can be learned, it can be developed. It's a skill, not a gift.
So if resilience is a skill, what are its components? What do you actually need to practice? That brings us to section 2, cracking the code. A group of researchers decided to play detective and figure this out once and for all by looking at all the different ways we've tried to measure resilience over the decades.
And when I say they went big, I mean they went big. This wasn't just a small study. They took 21 different, scientifically validated resilience scales. These are the questionnaires and tools that psychologists have been using for years, and threw them all into this massive analysis to find out what they all had in common. Their process was really straightforward. First, they went on a hunt, searching through all the academic databases to find every resilience measurement tool out there. Then, they selected the 21 best and most distinct scales. And finally, this is the magic step, they synthesized them. They laid them all out and looked for the patterns, the core ideas that kept showing up over and over and over again. And that detective work paid off. After sifting through all that data, they found that it all pointed to 4 fundamental themes. And that brings us to the big reveal in section 3, the 4 pillars of resilience. So pillar number 1 is control. This is all about your inner world. It's your ability to stay composed, to keep a cool head when things get stressful. We're talking about things like emotional regulation, keeping your self-esteem intact, and just general composure under fire. Okay, pillar number 2 is involvement. It's one thing to feel in control on the inside, but it's another to actually step up to the plate. Involvement is all about that commitment to face the challenge head-on. This is where your perseverance, your tenacity, your grit, that refusal to quit really comes into play. Pillar number 3 is growth. Now this is the really exciting one. This is the forward-looking part. It's not just about getting through a tough time. It's about using that experience to bounce back even stronger. It's about having a vision for your future, setting goals, and, like that quote said, seeing challenges as opportunities. And our 4th and final pillar is being resourceful. This is the practical problem-solving piece of the puzzle. It's your ability to look around, see what you've got, and find a solution. That could mean using your own creativity, your critical thinking, or, and this is a big one, knowing how to tap into your social support system for help. So there they are. Control, involvement, growth, and resourceful. But here's where it gets really cool. They aren't just a random list of words. They fit together perfectly. And that brings us to section 4, creating a new map for resilience. So this new map is built on 2 really simple ideas, 2 axes. The first one is about your condition. Basically, is this something happening internally, inside your own head, like your mindset, or is it something external, an action you're taking out in the real world? The second axis is about your state in time. Are we talking about the present, what you're dealing with right here, right now? Or are we focused on the future, what you're building toward, what's coming next? It's that simple. And when you put those 2 axes together, boom, you get this. the integrated resilience model. And suddenly, it all just clicks. Check it out. Control is your internal self in the present. Involvement is your external self in the present. Growth is your internal self focused on the future. And being resourceful is your external self planning for the future. It's so elegant. This beautiful little framework gives us a complete, balanced picture. It shows us that real resilience isn't just about what's in your head or what you do. It's not just about surviving today or dreaming about tomorrow. It's about all four. You need strength in all of these areas to be truly resilient.
Okay, this is a fantastic model, but what's the point? How do we actually use it? Let's get into our final section, putting resilience into practice. This is where we talk about why this framework matters in the real world for real people.
The applications here are huge. You could use this to design way better training for people in high-stress jobs, like doctors and nurses. You could totally redesign how we test students to build them up instead of burning them out. But I think the most powerful use is personal. It's a framework for you to look at your own life and do a little self-assessment. Let's just stick with that education example. Instead of just high-stakes exams that are all about pressure, imagine if teachers designed assessments that gave students more control over how they learn and show what they know. Or imagine projects where the whole point is to be resourceful and creative. You're not just testing knowledge anymore. You're actively building their resilience. So here's the big takeaway. Resilience isn't just one thing. It's a dynamic system, a balance between these four key areas. So I want to leave you with a question. Look at these four pillars: control, involvement, growth, and resourceful. And ask yourself, honestly, where am I already strong and where is my biggest opportunity to grow? Because answering that question is the very first step to building your own blueprint for bouncing back stronger than ever before.